And so I want you to be thinking about your energy way more than I want you to be thinking about your time. Because when you understand what gives you energy and what drains your energy, you know how to spend your time better. You know how to manage your time better. We all have the same amount of time in a day to do something. We all have the same 24 hours in a day, but we don't all have the same capacity. Welcome to the Life Coaching for Mompreneurs podcast, where you will learn simple solutions to win at work without losing at home. Hi, my name is Martine Williams, and I'm your host and CEO, your Chief Encouragement Officer. And this podcast is your one-stop shop to creating a burnout-proof life and business by elevating your clarity, confidence, and courage. Friends, it's time to say goodbye to being the yes girl, to procrastinating on your goals and living in overwhelm. And it's time to say hello to creating healthy boundaries, healthy mindsets, and healthy habits so that you can achieve work-life harmony. Your next breakthrough starts here. This is the Life Coaching for Mompreneurs podcast. Let's do this. Well, hey friends, and welcome back to the show. I had not planned to do a podcast episode today, but isn't that just how it works sometimes? You have your plans and then you just get inspired. And that's kind of the case for me today. I actually had planned to take the whole month off of recording podcast. We're in November right now. And so I pulled some of my most valuable podcasts out of the archives. And those are the episodes that you'll be hearing on Mondays. But today, this week, I have been getting back into the office. I've been getting back to work. Not that I took like a complete hiatus from my business, because I did. And I had clients that I was caring for, clients that I was meeting with every week. But this was like my first week kind of coming back into like the entrepreneur brain and not just the coach brain. And so I've been thinking about like my business and doing like some like strategy and some admin stuff at the beginning of the week. And there's a lot going on right now. And I think that I know the best thing for me is to be highly connected to my community, highly connected to in service of my community, being highly connected to my business. And so, as you all know, the last 3 months, Shaw and I were the caregivers for my mother-in-law who had pancreatic cancer. And I made a very conscious decision to turn off parts of my business, turn off or redirect, as you've heard me share on a couple of other episodes, my ambition from selling and marketing to really service to my mother-in-law. It was a very conscious decision. And there have been other times, I'm two decades into entrepreneurship. So there's been several other times where I've been through hard seasons and I didn't do that. And this time it just felt different. It felt like it was the right, in air quotes, right thing to do. It was what I wanted to be purposeful and intentional about doing. And so we also have my sister-in-law who has cancer. She's had cancer for about a year now, and she's been in the hospital the last 4 weeks. She's not doing well. My youngest is a senior in high school, so I have that going on. And one of my peers today was just like, in one day today, you have showed up for coaching. You have showed up for your son who's a senior at school. You have been on a peer coaching session. And she was like, it's pretty remarkable all that you do, knowing what I know about what you just went through and what you're still dealing with in your life. And so we kind of talked through that. And I shared with her, and she was like, I really think this is something you should share with your people. Hence the reason I'm doing this episode kind of on the fly. Sorry, Chris, my podcast editor. She just loves when I message her and say, hey, I want to do a podcast episode. Can you get that up and running for me in a couple of days? So this is actually, I think, gonna land on a Friday. But anyway, one of the things that we were talking about, or that I was sharing with her, is that, and everyone deals with grief and everyone deals with tragedy in a different way, right? And we had 3 months we knew what was coming. And so for me, I feel like because of the work that I've done, because of the tools that I have acquired as a coach, as an entrepreneur for 2 decades, and intentional work that I have done over the last 6 months, really over the last year, I was able to, and I gave myself permission to process the emotions in real time. Whereas before, I probably would have pushed them down. I probably would have tried to be the strong one. And then I would find myself when it was all over on the couch or on the floor, right? Like for a couple of weeks and not wanting to do anything. But because I was very intentional and purposeful about taking the time to grieve my mother in law pretty much on a daily basis. I mean, it was in front of me every day. And I allowed myself to feel those emotions. And I also allowed myself to coach my clients and to continue to deliver value in my business. And I remember getting on some coaching calls, and actually, some of my clients were like, I want to cancel today. Like, I feel like you need time for yourself or you need time to process this. But being with my clients and being in my business is such a energy giver for me. And this is what I was talking about with my peer today. I said, people ask me all the time, like, how do you do all the things that you do? That's been a pretty common theme for me in entrepreneurship. Being a mom, being an entrepreneur, running a multiple six-figure business, all of the things. And the answer is, like, the short answer is, I don't do all the things. I don't. I don't say yes to everything. And so as we're thinking about November, I want you to be thinking about that. You see me doing things, but I'm not doing all the things. I am saying no to certain opportunities, great opportunities, right? There are things that I've said no to during this season. My ambition was turned off from selling and marketing so that my ambition could be directed towards caring for myself and caring for my mother-in-law and caring for my family. And so the second part to that question is, how do you do all the things that you do? And this is the beautiful thing about the ProScan, which is the personality performance assessment, the science-backed tool that I use in coaching, is that it will show you what your capacity is. It will show you, like, I like to talk about like how large your fuel tank is. And it's like from 1 to 7, 7 being like the largest fuel tank, right? The largest level of capacity. Well, I'm a 6. So I do have the natural capacity, both physically, emotionally, and mentally, to do lots of things. I also believe that each one of us has the ability to grow our capacity in different ways, physically, emotionally, spiritually. Like, we have the ability to do that. And so I was sharing this with her, and I said, what most people don't understand is they think it's a time management problem. And so they're looking at all the things that I'm doing, and they're like, how does she manage all of her time? How does she manage to do it all? And it's not about time management. It's about energy management. When you understand, as I do, what gives you energy, what fuels you, what puts gas in the tank for you, and also what drains you, what zaps your energy. It's a level of empowerment and power that will take you to a new level. It will bring so much freedom in your decisions. It will help guard against burnout, because burnout doesn't just come from you doing too much. It comes from doing too little of the things that light you up. You've heard me say that here on the podcast before, but I want to remind you of that. So it's not that I am the best at time management, but I am really great at managing my energy. Quick pause. If you've been listening and you're ready to stop performing your life and start leading it, if you know you're ready to feel better now, not later, and you're ready for support that actually creates sustainable transformation, I have private one-on-one coaching spots open. And inside this coaching, in Illuminate You Coaching, we don't guess. We use your unique personality blueprint built from the science-backed personality performance tool called the ProScan. the one you've heard me talk about here in the podcast, this is used so that every decision, every boundary, every shift is designed specifically around your wiring, not someone else's. This is my aligned success method. It's not hacks. It's not try harder. It's not mindset glitter. It's a real solution. It's rooted in science, strategy, and your unique design. So you can lead your life as the woman you actually are, not the woman others expect you to be. You don't need a new year to make a new decision, friend. Now is the time. Take the step. Book your clarity call at martinewilliams.com/clarity. All right, back to the episode. Over the last 3 months, I was very particular about how I spent my time. I spent my time on things that gave me energy, way more things that gave me energy, and the people that give me energy, and the things that I watch that give me energy, and the things that I listen to that give me energy. I'm very protective over my energy, way more than I am over my time. Because if I fully understand, and you fully understand, number one, what your natural capacity is, you can protect it. Doesn't mean you can't grow it at certain times. For sure you can. But then when you also understand, this gives me energy. My business gives me energy. There are lots of parts of my business that give me energy. Coaching gives me energy. Being with my people gives me energy. Doing this podcast gives me energy. And so when you see me doing all the things, and even now when you see me like this all just happened and I am back in my business, it's because it gives me energy, and it's a form of self-care for me. It's a form of I get to do this. I get to do this work. I get to be back in purpose. I get to be back in intention. I get to get back to why I believe that I am here, and why I believe that God has allowed me to go through some of the things that I've gone through so that I can reach back and pull someone up and through that. And so all of the tools that I have that helped me to process tragedy over the last 3 months, and process grief, and process hurt, and process is this really happening? Allowed me to do that then so that I can get back into my purpose and get back into my intention way faster. Not that it's a race, but for me, I want to be back in this work. I want to be back in coaching with you. And so I want you to be thinking about your energy way more than I want you to be thinking about your time. Because when you understand what gives you energy and what drains your energy, you know how to spend your time better. You know how to manage your time better. We all have the same amount of time in a day to do something. We all have the same 24 hours in a day, but we don't all have the same capacity. And so that's what you need to understand. And that's the beautiful thing about the work that I do with my one-on-one clients, is helping you to understand your capacity, helping you to understand what are the things that light you up. It's probably been a really long time since you've even asked yourself that question. And some of you might be in a business that is sucking the life out of you, that is sucking your energy, because you're trying to build it from pressure. You're not building it from purpose. You're not building it from your strengths. You're not building it from priority. You're building it from pressure, and you're building it from expectations and how you should be doing it, or how you see other people strategizing in their business. But I know the things that are fueling me in my business, and I'm going to build my business that way. I've talked about this before on the podcast, but I'm a people person. I think you get that. And so I build my strategies around connection with people. Other people might be way more strategic in their thinking, and they're thinking about funnels, and they're thinking about some of the other parts of the business, and they all work. They all work, and they're all needed. But for you to understand this type of business model is going to be fun for me, it's going to be exciting for me, it's going to fuel me, it's something that I can get excited about, is the difference in enjoying entrepreneurship and enjoying your life and burning out. It really, really is. And so that's the power of intention. That's the power of knowing yourself in this way. So I'm going to keep coming on this podcast all throughout November and just kind of sharing some things that have been coming up on my coaching calls with my clients that I really just want to kind of dive into with you. But I'm back. And I'm back in the most vulnerable, authentic place because I'm in the permission energy. Like I'm giving myself permission to come back into my business just the way I am right now. I don't need to put on a facade that I may not still have, hard days thinking about my mother-in-law. I do. I had one today, actually. And on the way to the senior lunch for my son, like I just had a moment in the car where I just had to release it all, right? And it came from just a simple question that someone sent, which was, how are you doing? And that is such a tender question for me right now because I know the people that are asking are genuinely interested in how I'm doing. And so instead of pushing it down and trying to act like I'm the strong one, I'm getting back into my business, I'm just allowing it. I'm allowing those emotions to come up. And there's a lot to be said for that for many of you as business owners, as entrepreneurs, and as moms. You know, we do things because we want to feel a certain way. And then we don't do things because we don't want to feel a certain way. And when you build the emotional resilience and emotional safety to be willing to feel anything, you'll be willing to do anything. And that is the name of the game in entrepreneurship. We're not trying to avoid the hard. We're like seeing the hard and being able to hold the hard, right? The hard moments, the fear, the doubts, the impossibility, and meeting it with possibility. I feel like this is impossible, but I'm going to meet it with possibility. I feel overwhelmed, but I'm going to meet that with capability. I'm capable of figuring this out. And if you could have done those things already on your own, you would have already done it. And so I get coached every single week, and I would never ask you to do anything that I'm not willing to do myself. So I am opening up 5 one-on-one spots, and I'm really excited to open up those spots for you. So if you've been thinking about coaching, if you've been thinking about getting support as a high achieving woman, an entrepreneur, maybe you're a small business owner, maybe you're wanting to make a transition out of your small business or out of corporate into a small business, maybe you just know that you're meant for more and you're not really sure what that's going to look like. I coach the whole woman. I don't just coach the business side, I coach the whole woman because they're not separate. They're not. We do a really great job of trying to compartmentalize things. But what's going on at home is impacting what's going on at work. And what's going on at work is impacting what's going on at home. And so we coach on all of it. I coach on the whole woman. So the next best step for you, if you're thinking about coaching or excited about, yes, like I need to understand how to manage my energy better, how to find those rhythms that support giving me energy and really being able to tap into the source versus just living in the hamster wheel of life. Then I want you to go to martinewilliams.com/clarity, and I want you to book your clarity call. That is the very, very, very first step. This is you and I getting on a call, and we're just going to talk through where you're at, where you want to go, and then we're going to talk through what would be a best next step for you. And maybe that's continuing coaching with me, and maybe it's not. There's no like strings attached. The clarity call is valuable in of itself. So I want to encourage you to do that today. Don't wait. This is not, I'm waiting until January. Why would you put off understanding your energy and your capacity for 2 more months? Why would you put off getting out of burnout? Every day you spend in burnout and overwhelm is a day you can't get back. Not one of you deserves to live like that. Why would we put off creating progress now, getting results now, taking action now on building that business, taking action now on getting your health under control, taking action now on learning how to manage the brain that is beautiful and also at the same time the blocker sometimes for us in achieving progress. This is all available to you, and it's available to 5 women. So go to martinewilliams.com/clarity. Let's get on a clarity call. Let's talk. And thank you for just allowing me to come on literally like very few notes. It's just me talking and just kind of letting you know that I'm back and I'm super excited. And if you are an ambitious entrepreneur as well and you're coming out of a rough season, I see you. And this could be the absolute best thing for you. There's no right or wrong way to come back into your business. There's no right or way to come back into the things that you're passionate about. You just take a first step. And this was mine, just letting you know. So I will catch you on our next episode, and you know that I'm believing in you always. Well, that's a wrap, friends. Thank you for tuning in to today's episode. I really hope it met you right where you are and gave you some encouragement for your day. Could you do me the biggest favor and leave me a rating and review? Seriously, it's the best way for you to support the show. And while you're there, be sure to follow the show so you never miss an episode. Thanks again. And until next time, I am believing in you always.